Chapter 10: Data Validation.
So now let's explore what is data validation. It's primarily concerned more in terms of data entry. So for example, in this case, taken from the previous exercise, the region field can only have something like east, west, north, or south. So it could not have any other entry like this, or east may be represented by E. So we want consistency in data, so for which we use data validation. So now for data validation to work in these cells, we first select the cells and then we go to the data tab. Under the data tab, we have the data validation option. And if we select data validation, then these are the options we have. Now, as you can see, these all are the options available to us. We will start with the list option. Also note that by default, Excel has the option any value, so that any of the cell you can enter any value. So that's one important point. So coming back to list, we have to tell Excel what the source of this list would be, which would ultimately go into these cells. So the source could either be a range of cells like this, or we can manually enter the values like this. We can once we do this, we see that these cells automatically get a drop-down menu, and now these options are available to us to enter, right? So this is a way of manually giving the list uh, items to Excel. But if you want to link it to a specific set of cells, let's again select list, and then instead of typing in the values, we select these cells, and then once we do it, we have our options available to us. So this way we can automatically link to a range of cells to give automatic drop-down menus for data validation. Another type of data validation is date. So let's say in this example we have our dates from 1st Jan to 10th Jan, because this is the time this report is created for. So we want only values that lie between these dates to be entered, and the rest to be highlighted as an error. So let's go to data validation, and then we have the option of date. To make things even easier, what we can do is we can type a start date, and we can also type an end date, so that we can link it directly from these cells instead of manually typing the dates. So we'll see what we mean by that. So these are the two dates that are available to us. Now we select these cells, and then we go to data validation, and then we select date. Now since we want our dates to lie between specific date, start and end date, so we choose in between, otherwise these are the other options available. So the start date becomes this, and then our end date becomes this. Also, we can give an input message so that whenever we enter the cell, we get this message in the cell. So we can say enter date, and date should be between specified period. So something like this. And then we can even say an error. So let's say we can say the error is date is not in range, or range period, like this. And then so now if we go to the cell, we see we have this prompt coming, and we can enter a date. Let's say we enter say 2nd Jan 2018, and then we have this date. And if we enter a wrong date, let's say we type 4th Jan 2017, then we get it. We should get an error. So we see that the error is not being highlighted.